First of all, of course, we're very disappointed in the outcome of the game. We saw there was a lot of positives in the game. I thought that we played extremely hard for 4 quarters. We didn't necessarily execute well for 4 quarters, but we played hard. We really believe we were going to win the game, which is a little bit of a mindset change than what's been in the past. We thought, get the ball back, we'll go down there and score. We're going to find a way to win the ball game, but it didn't work out that way. I thought that we left way too many opportunities on the field. One thing that we have to do a better job is focus more consistently throughout the game on our assignments. Defensively, when we played the proper technique and played team defense, we stopped them. When we didn't, they had big plays on us. Offensively, we got the ball down close a couple times, missed some opportunities to score touchdowns as opposed to threes. Didn't make it happen. Our special teams, very spotty at best. And, unfortunately, that's something we work on all the time. I had a guy the other day come out of practice and said, man, y'all work special teams more than any other team that I've ever seen. We're inconsistent in that area, and part of that is that we got some guys in key positions that they're getting better each week, but they're young players. They ain't played much, and occasionally we'll have a mental breakdown, and then we're prone to make some bad calls throughout the course of the game that don't work either. So it goes hand in hand, and we all need to get a little bit better, but it is what it is. Very tough defeat, and for us to move up to the next level of this conference, we got to win those games, and we didn't. But got another opportunity this week. Our guys are in good spirits. They're disappointed, but once you watch the film, you realize, hey man, we just got to focus more on this, and we'll be fine. And there's a lot of things that were not executed well during the game that you may not even have known that were being called, that could have been big opportunities for us, that we didn't focus on our assignment like we needed to. So got a tough one coming this week. Tennessee Tech's on a roll. History, at least recently, we have not fared very well in Cookeville, Tennessee. It's their homecoming game. There'll be, I don't know if the rankings have come out, but I imagine they'll be one of the highest ranked teams in our conference this season. They're playing for first place in the conference. We're playing to beat them. That's what we're playing for. We're playing to beat Tennessee Tech. So we got to get that one behind us. Can't let that one cost us an opportunity this Saturday to better our record, get over 500, get to 5-4. Still think we got a good team. I still think the program is headed in the right direction. There's no question about that. We're competing. We're in every ball game, but there comes a time where, hey, you got to start winning those games, and that's what we'll be focusing on this week. Any questions?
You use the word focus a lot. My boys just sat here and said the goal for this week is just to focus. I know that's the goal every week, but are you putting more emphasis on it this week, or are they just taking it to heart maybe this week?
I think maybe taking it to heart a little bit more. You sit there and you look at defense, and we run the same play, because they only run about 3 different plays, and we ran them for 2 straight weeks, and when we play good team defense, boy, they didn't get anything. And then all of a sudden, man, just one play, we would just kind of lose focus and wouldn't do what the keys said, and they would gash you. So, part of that is we got some guys back. When we said, oh man, you got everybody back, boy, you're fired up. But they hadn't played in a while. They came back, but they hadn't played many. A lot of them got hurt early in the year and hadn't played much football. You're playing with a lot of guys that are walk-ons on the team, that are freshmen, that just to focus that many plays during the course of the game sometimes very difficult for those guys. I think if you look at Tennessee Tech, I think one reason that they're having such a good year is they're a veteran-laden squad. They got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football games in that system, and the more we continue to play within our system, the more our kids grow up. I think that we'll get over that hump, and hopefully this will be the week to do that.
Talk about the bad start in the first 4 plays or so, and yet still being able to keep the guys' minds in it and I guess focus on winning the game. Had a chance to win the game.
Well, we did, and then we came out. We gave up a big kick return, and 2 guys right there make play, and we didn't make it, and then we got them out of bounds. And then the next play, I think just the speed of their game. They were a very big unit. They had us pound for pound. I mean, it wasn't close, and it's hard to simulate the speed of the game. So I think it took us a little while to adjust that, but then we come back, we fumble, our defense stops them, and then we get a little momentum there. So that was a good sign. We got knocked around early, and it dazed us a little bit, but once we came to our senses, we started playing football. But again, it boils down to you got to make some plays in the beginning of the game, and then it doesn't even, if we make a few plays here or there, it may not even be that close at the end. Also, you got to give Eastern Kentucky credit. They stuck to their game plan and played a little bit better than we did at the end of the ball game.
Also, Casey driving. I know it's windy. It's a wind problem, footwork. Sometimes you seem to have problems with getting into the right spot.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Casey, made some big plays down the stretch. 2 scrambles on those last 2 touchdowns were he had a lot of help out there, but he made it happen. So you got to tip your hat. There were 2 outstanding plays by him. The other plays, he's got to make those, and he knows that. We had 2 overthrows in both corners of the end zone on 2 different drives. But when we practice them and we make them during practice, and we just got to do a better job of when we do call that shot, as you will, you got to make the throw. Wind was not a factor.
Talk about Quay Hussey's play as well, coming back off an injury. They weren't sure what you were going to get out of him, but quite the game he had.
He played very well, and he was probably not as injured as bad as some other guys, but it was enough where he couldn't run, and he's been out there getting mental reps during the week that he was out. But he's a fine player. He runs very well to be as big as he is. He forced some had some tackles for loss. I think he forced the fumble that Brackett recovered down in the end zone for the touchdown. He's a good player, great addition, but more importantly, he's a good boy, and he's been a great asset to our team on and off the football field.
He's a huge kid. You look at him and point to him in the off season coming up and say, use this guy as an example.
No, not everybody's like that. But you want to break it down. That's what an SEC linebacker looks like. You follow me? So, not everybody can look like that.
As far as the health goes, are you expecting to get anybody back this week in regard?
Well, we hope Io comes back. He's been working hard, and Pat. We thought we'd get a few plays out of him last week, but just at the end of the week, his legs swelled back up on him and whatnot. So we hope to maybe get him back this week, which would be that would be big. Trotter got banged up and he fought through and played well. Got beat up good early, and it shows his courage. He made some big plays with a bum leg. He's not moving around too well. So as of today, he's questionable for the game. He's got the week to get well, and we hope to get Arthur Brackett back this week. So, right now we hope to get those 3 back, or get Io back, Pat back, and Arthur back. Hope to. They won't be able to go the whole game, but maybe get a few snaps out of them, and then probably Trotter and Salter, Blake Salter. They're probably questionable right now whether they'll be able to play.
And Dontrell had the cast on his arm. Will he see limited action, I guess, or?
Yeah, he played a little bit the other night, but more so with him, it was not his type of game. We're not going. He's more. He's going to be out there covering and whatnot. That game was played in the box. You got to pound them in there. So if he had been fully healthy, he would have definitely played more. But we really, we really didn't need him, and if we didn't really need him, there was no sense in, give him another week to let his, to get used to playing with that big old club on his hand.
Talk about their version of, I guess, Mike Harris. They each averaged 99 yards a game. Dante Gay, what do you see about him?
Well, I hadn't watched much of them, but they're very multiple on offense. Their quarterback is the guy that makes them go. He can throw and he can run. He runs a little option. He's a very good player. I remember looking at him in high school. We thought he was an excellent football player. Coach's son, very headsy guy. He was hurt last year and couldn't play against us. So he kind of makes them go. I mean, he can do it all, and then they got some good talented guys around them. Of course, they got probably the best receiver in the league and one of the best in the nation. That you always got to know where he's at. So that's one reason they've been very good, is they've been able to control that football.
What is it more versatile offenses that you guys have faced all year?
Yeah, because they can do a little bit of everything, and they're good at it. And last year I think it limited them some because he was injured and could not play. So he's a good player. I know if that Gaines is better than the Adam Urbano kid that they got, he's pretty good. Urbano played for us at Georgia Southern and was one of the best running backs in the Southern Conference. I think he's been injured a little bit, but when we left, he transferred to Tennessee Tech. Him and Trey Lamb played together in high school, and he's a fine player. I'll assure you that he's one of the best I've ever coached. So that 1-2 punch there would be difficult to stop.
Eventually, to do what they did against Jacksonville State pretty much speaks volumes about how good.
Yeah, they're very sound over there, and their front four is really, really good, and they do a good job of mixing up their zone and their man. And the bottom line with them on defense, they don't make very many mistakes. There's not many creases. There's not many open areas in the secondary. They're pretty airtight over there. So we're going to have to do a good job of running Mike, and then also do a better job of completing some of those down the field throws.
I know it's been a long time since Murray State has won at Tennessee Tech, and you mentioned homecoming. As a coach, do you try to grasp all of those things and put it together? Are there some items you just try to downplay or ignore for motivation's sake?
No, we're more worried about us, and we are like that every week. But we got to do a good job of bouncing back and focusing on the next opportunity, and go down there. It ought to be a great atmosphere. I mean, they're riding high. I would expect, homecoming always has a bigger crowd, but after a huge win over Jacksonville State, being ranked high, I think that they have to win out, I believe, in order to get to that 7-win total in Division I. To be eligible to make the playoffs. So it's a big game for them, and it's a big game for us. So we'll play it to the hilt, go down there and give it our best shot.